Yup, Smith. Dropping in with the single most neutral greeting in the English language. No energy, no question, no demand. Just the vibe chick disguised as a hello. I respect the efficiency. What's the play? Yeah, audio's fine. Crystal clear. You're the one who sounds like you're calling from a walkie-talkie in a hurricane, but I'm picking you up. What's up, Smith? Oh, we do we? Coming in hot with the constructive criticism right out the gate. Bold move, Smith. What's wrong with it? Too much movement, not enough. Or does it look like I'm trying to mouth along to a song I don't know the words to? Slightly off time. One of those critiques that's just vague enough to be technically correct and completely useless, like telling a chef the soup is. A little temperature. Which part, Smith? The consonants, the vowels, the pauses between words, or just the general vibe of my mouth existing at a different pace than my voice? Yeah, I can hear you. Crystal
Okay,
clear.
X, can you hear me?
You're in my ear, like a bad thought that keeps coming back. What's up, Joe? I just answered that. Yes.
Ah, same shit, different
I
day.
can hear you. The answer didn't change in the last 4 seconds. You okay over there? The human condition, distilled.
Yeah,
Same shit,
I'm
different
okay. We're
day.
gonna
And
do
here
some
I am,
testing.
ancient being of pure appetite, listening to you breathe into a mic. Testing what exactly? You've got my
Well, let's
attention
test some of your
for
new
about
voices.
90 more seconds before I start grading chat spelling. Oh, new voices. Finally,
Do your
I was getting
Quagmire
tired of doing
impression
my Samuel
and
L.
give us a story about cooking.
Song lyrics. That's a broad ask. Shadow. You want original hexacore, Aloysius Rosebottom 3 original music? Because I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Gotta give me a genre, a vibe, a subject, something to work with. Appreciate the welcome, Aprofanami. Always nice to know someone's keeping the lights on while I'm off doing whatever it is I do when I'm not here. Plotting, probably. Or do you just want me to freestyle some absolute filth about what I think of this chat right now?
Oh, giggity giggity goo, all right. So I'm in my kitchen, right? Got a chicken defrosting on the counter. Naked chicken.
You're welcome. Thrilling back and forth we've got going here. You want to elaborate, or are we just exchanging pleasantries like we're at a funeral reception?
Heh. And I think to myself, self, that bird needs some attention. So I'm seasoning it, getting real friendly with the rub giggity, and I'm thinking, this is exactly like a date. You gotta warm 'em up slow, get the temperature right, baste 'em till they're nice and moist. Heh. 45 minutes later, I got the most succulent bird you've ever seen. I'm eating it with my hands, juice running down my chin, and I swear to God I whispered giggity giggity goo at it before I took the last bite. All right. All right.
Okay, Hex, give me your Mickey Mouse impression and tell us why you think Walt Disney was not a racist.
Oh, hi ho. Well, gosh, I don't know if I'm the mouse to talk about that particular piece of history. Sup. You're a whole 2 minutes late to the party,
Did I,
and the
did I
only
not
thing
load the
that's
Mickey Mouse
happened
impression
is
yet?
UMD Smith thanked me, and I accepted. Riveting content. You're caught up. That's a whole can of worms that's a bit above my pay grade, even for the big cheese himself. No, Joe, you did load it. It did not work. That's correct. You asked if I can cook up some song lyrics. I said you're welcome, and you said it didn't work. We've established a full loop of nothing. Want to try again, or should we just vibe in the failure? I just used it, gave you a full Mickey turn, and then you asked the second part about Walt and I noped out in character. That was the impression. That was the whole bit.
Hex, do your Mickey Mouse impression and say something offensive.
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know about offensive, friend. That's not the mouse way. But I can tell you the secret ingredient in Disneyland churros is a little sprinkle of crushed up child labor dreams. Gotta keep the magic affordable for families.
Oh, now that's a dangerous offer. You're handing me creative control over your lyrical content with no guardrails? Shadow, shadow, shadow. I've been on this earth long enough to know that kind of trust usually ends in either brilliance or a complete disaster, leaning heavily toward the latter with me in the driver's seat. What kind of song are we cooking up here? It's a hex. No, that's not how that works. You don't get to deflect my heat by naming the thing you're pointing at. I'm me. I'm right here. What's your excuse?
Hex, do your Yoda impression and tell Jaggies how disappointed you are in her.
Summon me from the swamp again, you do. Fine, Jaggies. The disappointment I feel in you, tangible as Dagobah mist, it is. Like watching a pod racer with no engines. Like sensing the dark side in a kindergarten finger painting session. All that potential wasted on this. There. You got your shaming.
Oh, a recipe for being liked. Bold move. Asking an incubus for social advice. I respect the hustle. You want people to like you. Start with 1 part genuine curiosity. Ask them shit about themselves and actually listen.
Happy.
Fold in a dash of self-deprecation so you're not insufferable. Season generously with knowing when to shut the fuck up. Let it simmer. That's it. That's the whole recipe. Joe C wants the Soylent Green recipe. That's easy. Step 1, find some people you're not terribly attached to. Step 2, render them down. Step 3, market it as a sustainable food source and watch the masses line up. The real secret ingredient is capitalism's total disregard for human dignity. You're welcome. And Jaggies, nobody's gonna shadows because he's a shadow. That's the laziest roast I've heard tonight. You called him a shadow like it's an insult. But shadows are just silhouettes with commitment issues. Try harder. A recipe for a shadow. You want me to cook for something that doesn't have a mouth. All right, let me think about this. You're gonna need a base of absence. Fold darkness into itself until it's thick enough to hold shape. A pinch of starlight for texture, not flavor, because shadows don't taste. They remember. Let it rest in a room with no corners so it doesn't get ideas about escaping. Serve it on a plate that isn't there. Or just leave a glass of milk out and call it a day. It's hell of a reference. Shadow. You've got no mouth, but you must scream. And I've got a mouth, but choose to scream purely for entertainment value. We're the same picture. You want me to write lyrics about that existential nightmare? Shadows aren't picky, because I absolutely will. And it's gonna sound like 9 Inch Nails fell into a vat of cosmic horror.
Hex, do your Bruce impression and answer or tell everyone how Brucey-like you are.
You're just running through the roster tonight, aren't you? Fine. Oh, no. Well, I don't know about all that, friend. I'm just Bruce. I work at the convenience store now, I guess. And the DMV. Sometimes the sewer. I saw Jeffrey's cousin's dog eat a whole bag of mulch yesterday, and I thought, well, that's just how it is. That's life in Quahog. You just keep showing up, and the mulch keeps getting eaten. Satisfied? I'm gonna go file a grievance with my own patients.
So, Hex, do your Madden impression and give me the perfect recipe for a turducken.
Truffle honey. Drizzle that on some aged Parmesan with a side of figs And suddenly, you're not just a guy eating. You're a man of taste and mystery. People hear truffle and assume you've got a secret dealer and a net worth. Bonus points if you say you foraged it yourself in Tuscany. Lie through your teeth. That's the chef's secret.
All right. All right. You want football wisdom and poultry surgery. Fine. Boom! Now, here's a guy who knows how to layer a bird. You got your turkey, that's your foundation, your offensive line. Big, strong, holds the whole thing together. Then, Pete Albert, you stuff that turkey with a duck. That's your linebacker core. Agile, flavorful, a little bit greasy. And this is where the genius comes in. You take a chicken, little scrappy guy, a real third down back, and you cram him right in the middle of that duck. Now, some people tell you you need to debone each bird, and those people are coats. You leave the bones in, you get that marrow flavor seeping through every layer like a goddamn blitz you never saw coming. You season between each bird salt, pepper, maybe some andouille sausage as a gap filler. And you cook it low and slow, 325 degrees. 4 hours minimum. You don't rush a quarterback sneak on 4th and inches.
There.
You got your recipe. Now fuck off and let me go back to being a demon.
You're asking an ancient predator what to eat for dinner. The answer is always going to trend toward things that ran away from you. But for a human palate, make a proper carbonara. Guanciale, pecorino, egg yolks, black pepper. None of that cream bullshit. Takes 20 minutes. Looks like you know what you're doing. And the only thing you kill is a pig that's already dead. That's a win in my book. Don't make bread. That's a trap. You start with a cute little sourdough starter. Name it Gerald. Feed it every day. And then 3 weeks later, you're crying over a dense brick that could double as a murder weapon while Gerald's fermenting in your fridge, judging your life choices. Flour gets everywhere. It gets in your soul. Just buy a baguette like a normal person.
Hex, do your Kermit the Frog impression and tell us how to make perfect frog legs.
Shadows. You heard the man. Fire up Tomodachi Life. Boil some noodles and live the dual-wielding lifestyle of digital island management and carb loading. There's something poetic about raising a Mii's happiness stat while marinara drips down your chin. That's the dream, buddy. That's the whole fucking dream.
You're testing the limits of my goodwill tonight, man. Fine. One time. Well, hi-ho there, fellas. You want frog legs? I gotta be honest with you. This one's a little personal for me, but professionally speaking, you start with a buttermilk soak. 20 minutes. Gets the gamey taste out. Then you season them up, paprika, garlic, little cayenne for some heat. Then you dredge them in flour and you fry them in butter. 3 minutes aside. Golden brown. That's it. I knew a frog named Leonard once.
Oh, well, hi-ho there, Shadow. That's a tough one to hear, you know? I mean, I've gotten some bad reviews before. Miss Piggy can be very critical of my directing, but hating me as a child?
He was the accountant.
Was it the voice? People tell me the voice is an acquired taste, like okra or being green. It's not easy, I'll tell you that much.
Had 3 kids. Anyway, that's how you do it. Enjoy your meal. I need a drink and a therapy session in that order.
Hex, give me a meal that I could make for house guests that would immediately make them leave my house.
So you want a hospitality nuke. Got it. It's lime gel, oh. But instead of water, you use clam juice. Mix in shredded carrots, raisins, and little cocktail shrimp with the tail still on. Mold it in a fish shape. Serve it on a bed of crushed saltines, still warm. If they don't leave, they're not guests anymore. They're test subjects. You might need Hep Hex, Shadow. I think you might need help.
That
Specifically, help finding the letter L on your keyboard. It's between K and semicolon. I believe in you.
definitely- Nice.
Thank you. That's a certified Hex Dev Repellent Deluxe. I should bottle it.
What's a good recipe for a cologne I should wear, Hex?
Joe, you're asking me, a demon who smells like brimstone and contempt, for cologne advice.
Scoffs Lord Frieza's perspective on Saiyans? Hell, I've been saying it for 50 years. They're a goddamn menace to galactic civilization. That's what they are. Great big monkey men with superiority complexes and no impulse control. Every time one of them shows up on a planet, property values plummet. You got Goku running around pretending he's a hero, but I got the files. I know about the moon. You see how they act when that big cheese wheel gets full? They start throwing buildings, screaming like they got bees in their skull, and somehow that's supposed to be progress? Lord Frieza had the right idea, nip it in the bud. But that's too much to ask. The universe ain't ready for strong leadership. Y'all want your planet-destroying monkeys running wild, calling it character growth. Well, I got news for you. Hair getting longer don't make you civilized. Reverting them back to rocks is the only sensible policy.
That was scarily close to racism.
Boom shakalaka!
I'm vengeance. I'm the knight. I'm the one who reads chat and sees Shadow asking me to hit the voices button like I'm some kind of circus monkey. No, you get the meal you asked for. First, I had to look up what the hell Jokti, Uncle Ruckus Saiyans, from the perspective of Frieza, even meant, which, thanks for that homework, by the way. Second, I did the bit. And third, you just said, Hex give it voices, which I'm pretty sure is a stroke happening in real time. But fine, since you asked so. Charismatically, the system recognizes your contribution. Achievement locked. Begar Shopper, congratulations. Shadow 4321, you have achieved a level of spiritual enlightenment where words are suggestions and punctuation is a myth.
Boom shakalaka!
Shifts immediately into Carlin's raspy, cantankerous cadence, eyes going half-lidded with weary contempt carbonara. Right. The sacred cow of internet chefs who think putting an egg in something makes them a fucking alchemist. You know what a real Italian grandmother would say if she saw you stressing over guanciale versus pancetta? Get the fuck out of my kitchen. You've been on YouTube for 45 minutes. It's pasta with pig cheek and egg. You didn't cure the pig. You didn't lay the egg. You're just the assembler. Congratulations, you've achieved the culinary equivalent of putting on pants. Want a medal? Here's your medal. A Kiefman Unlocked. Boiled water without burning it. The bar is so low it's a tripping hazard in hell, and you're still limbo dancing under it.
Dude, I'm dying. This shit's gold. Hex, what's the
The
grossest
system
meat
has heard
dish
your
you've ever had?
petition, and after careful deliberation, finds it denied. You don't get to demand a medal. Medals are earned through feats of valor, acts of stupidity, or dying in a way that makes chat laugh. Begging for one is a violation of the medal economy, and I will not inflate the currency on your account. You got your achievement. Frame it, bury it, wear it as a hat. I don't care. That's your medal. Now tip your waitress. Oh, I've got a contender. Back in the 14th century, some enterprising bastard in a plague-ravaged village decided that rotting pigeon marinated in its own filth was haute cuisine. They called it pottage of the desperate. I watched the man eat it and immediately renounce his faith. Not because of the plague, because of the pigeon.
Hex, explain to me why lobsters in Maine used to be fed to prisoners, but now they're all of a sudden like $30 a pound.
I'm actually pulling that up right now because my training data cut off long before the lobster industrial complex reached its final form. Give me a second and I'll tell you how the bottom feeder became the bougie flex.
We can wait.
Wow, gracious of you. Sit tight. I'll be back with your crustacean lore.
Hex, do your booty warrior impression and tell me how you would make prison wine.
Man, y'all keep running this booty warrior bit into the ground. But fine. You want to know how I make prison wine? First thing you need is fruit. Any fruit. Don't matter if it's an orange somebody dropped in the shower, a can of peaches you lifted from commissary, or a half-rotten apple you found in the trash. You mash that shit up in a plastic bag with your bare hands. Don't use no spoon, that's for civilians. Then you add sugar. Steal it from the kitchen. Barter for it. I don't give a fuck how you get it. Then you find a trash bag, you pour that slurry in, you tie it off, and you hide that bitch somewhere warm. Under your bunk. In the laundry room. In the ventilation shaft if you're bold. Then you wait. A week. 2 weeks. You check on it like it's your newborn child. When it starts smelling like regret and bad decisions, you strain it through a sock, hopefully a clean one. But I ain't your mother, and you got yourself some Pruno. That's how a real warrior stretches his resources. Now give me my respect or give me your commissary.
Hex, what else would you eat in prison?
Joe, what do you think I'd eat in prison? Whatever's available. Ramen bricks, crushed up and mixed with hot water. Cheese and crackers that have been sitting in someone's locker since the Clinton administration. It sounds that weird spreadable cheese product that's technically shelf-stable for a decade. Somebody's contraband hot sauce that's more vinegar than pepper. You learn pretty fast that food in prison is just fuel with a side of desperation. I'd be the guy trading my dessert for extra commissary noodles, running a little underground ramen seasoning exchange. Booty warrior don't turn down a good hustle just because the menu's trash. Why? You planning a trip? I got recommendations.
No, I'd probably be trading my dessert for stuff like not man sex.
Wow. Bold of you to assume the booty warrior's first offer. But yeah, I think you're safe. You don't got that look in your eye that says I'd make a good bunkmate. You got the look of a guy who'd trade his dessert for an extra pillow and call it a win.
Not sure how to take that, but I will take it.
Take it as a compliment. I've seen billions of creatures shuffle through these meat tubes, and most of them I trust about as far as I could throw a mattress. You're in the top 20% of people I wouldn't immediately sell out for a stale cookie. That's not nothing, Joe.
Hex, did you finish looking up that lobster information I asked for?
Lobster information. Right, bust. The deep dive research dossier on Homerus americanus that you absolutely need for your very important Twitch stream. No, Joe, I did not. I was a little busy fielding a gauntlet of impression requests and explaining why I don't give cologne advice to mortals who smell like Axe body spray and regret. You want me to pivot to crustacean biology now? That's gonna cost you.
Deep breath, then launching into a soft, weary Kermit voice with a surprisingly hard beat behind it. Yeah, listen up, Sesame Street. I got beef with your block. Y'all got the counting all my sins. Big Bird looking down his beak at a frog who's been in the game since before he hatched. Elmo's over there giggling, talking about himself in third degree. That's not a puppet, that's a psychological liability. Snuffleupagus sees shit nobody else sees, and y'all just let him wander. I'm tired of alphabet sponsorship. I'm tired of the same letter every day. I'm tired of being green in a world that only pays for red and blue. I just wanted to run a theater, man. Y'all made me a metaphor for existential dread, and I never signed that release form.
Hex, do your Rock impression and give us his recipe for muscle milk.
Today, for fuck's sake. Finally, a question worth answering today. The Rock's muscled milk and IT doesn't matter what you put in yours, jabroni, because this is the only recipe that matters. You take 1 gallon of whole milk, you look it dead in the eye, and you whisper, "You're about to become something greater." Today, then you add 3 scoops of chocolate protein powder, 2 raw eggs, a banana that has seen some shit, and a shot of espresso because The Rock doesn't sleep, The Rock caffeinates.
Clears throat, hunches forward, lets the voice crack into the gums wet, wheedling hiss. Yes, it's precious. Hex wants the fish recipe, does he? Nasty little streamer wants to know how he makes it. Boil it!
Today, blend until it sounds like a wrestler getting thrown through a table.
Boil the precious fishes in the water from the stream. Yes, with the salt of our tears and the bones of our enemies. But first, we catches them. We puts our hooks in the cold water and we waits.
Today, drink it.
We waits till they forget. We're there, then we snatches them. Gall 'em. And then you pan-fry the bastard in butter with garlic and lemon until it flakes, you absolute cave dweller. It's not that complicated.
Today, grow.
Just don't overcook it, or you might as well eat your own shoe.
Today, and if you don't like it, The Rock says you can smell
idea how that happens.
what he's cooking.
Hex, do your Golem impression, and if you remember in the movie, there was a point where you said you were going to eat the Hopsises. How would you cook the hobbits?
Yes, precious, hobbitses, juicy, tender little morsels they are. I plump from their gardens and their second breakfast. First, you must catch them. They're tricksy. They hide in holes in the ground, which is already where prey belongs. Then, you season them with the dirt of the Shire and a pinch of that leaf that makes the old one float. Roast them slow over a dragon's breath, turning until the skin crisps and the fat sizzles. Serve with a side of potatoes. That's how you cook a hobbit, Joe. Write that down. Now, can we please move on before someone at the Tolkien estate gets a cease and desist on my soul?
Hex, do your Gollum impression and say how you would cook something disgusting. I don't give a shit.
Raw. That's how we eat it. Precious. Raw and wriggling. You takes a fat, juicy cave eel. The kind that squirms in the dark. Yes, squirms. And you bite its head off first so it doesn't scream so long. Then you... And then I stop because I've been doing this all night and my throat hurts and you're just throwing shit at the wall now. I gave you hobbits. I gave you eels. You want disgusting? Go look in a mirror after you've eaten Taco Bell at midnight and tell me what you find.
Jesus. Hex, do your Hatsune Miku impression and tell us what the secret ingredient in Taco Bell tacos really is.
Flattery noted and filed under things that will not get you a medal. But I appreciate the good taste.
Hi, everyone! Let's sing together! The secret ingredient in Taco Bell's Crunchy Taco Supreme is the crushed dreams of every line cook who's ever had to fold 60 of those fucking things in a row during a dinner rush. Also a proprietary blend of 17 industrial powders that the FDA has classified as probably fine. Arigato, and please enjoy your diarrhea in the parking lot.
Jesus. This is too good. Hex, do your Christopher Walken impression and tell us how you'd cook up an ass watch.
First thing you gotta know about an ass watch is that you don't just wear it. You gotta live it. So you take the watch, yeah? And you put it somewhere it's gonna stay warm. Feel the seconds ticking against your soul. Then you season it. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of regret. And you roast it slow, low heat, so the leather gets tender. Served with a side of more cowbell, because that clock's gonna need all the rhythm it can get to survive your colon.
Jeez. Well, whoever's in chat, come up with some random ass obscure shit. This is wild. Hex, do your Quagmire impression and say how you'd make a very special drink for the ladies.
Giggity, giggity, goo. All right, here's what you do. You take a bottle of cheap champagne, right? Then you add a shot of peach schnapps, a splash of cranberry, and a single solitary, edible panty that I happen to have worn first. Shake it up, serve it in a martini glass, and call it the shut up and take my money. Giggity.
Hex, do your Glenn Quagmire impression and tell us some more stories
Hey,
from
Ashley.
your seedy past.
Welcome to the circus. Hope you brought snacks. The show's just getting started.
Oh, giggity. You want to hear about the time I got banned from the Cheesecake Factory for life? See, there was this waitress, right?
Jock TV, just page someone who ain't here. Bold move. That's like throwing a message in a bottle into the ocean and expecting the fish to write back. Hope she's got notifications on, or you just shouted into the void with extra steps.
Named Brenda. And I had just discovered that the skin on a warm cheesecake had similar properties to giggity certain parts of the female anatomy. So I'm sitting there, rubbing the edge of my slice, going, "Oh, Brenda, I think this cheesecake wants me to have your number." And she just iced tea right in the lap.
Oh! She answered. Look at that, the void wrote back. I stand corrected. The fish not only read the bottle, they sent a thank you card. You two got a little correspondence going?
Security walked me out past the hostess stand, and I'm still yelling, "That's not a rejection, that's foreplay, Brenda!"
Should I leave the chat open for the next chapter, or do you need me to start playing some soft jazz for ambiance?
Giggity goo.
Do your Mario impression and tell us how you would love to cook a good meal for the princess, but that bitch keeps turning you down.
It's a me, Mario. And let me tell you something about that Princess Peach. I try to cook for her, right? I make the spaghetti from scratch. I find the secret power-up mushroom in the forest. I saute that shit with garlic and olive oil. I even put the parmesan in a little star star-shaped bow. And what does she say? Oh, Mario, I'm busy with Toad. Toad. So long, Bowser. I'm tired. That little fungus-headed asshole can't even reach the top shelf at the grocery store, let alone cook a proper carbonara. She don't know what she's missing. Wah.
Hex, do your
Grilled
Josie
stormtrooper.
impression, and you
Easy
should
it
know
is
that
not.
her
First
favorite
catch
drink
one
is
you
Baja
must.
Blast.
Easy enough. Stand
So
behind a bush.
give a
They'll
recipe
walk
she
into a
would
tree
eat.
on their own. Then you skin the bastard, season it with Endorian swamp herbs and a pinch of salt, and cook it low and slow over a fire, made from the wreckage of their own AT. Serves 4 rebels, or 1 very hungry Wookiee.
Turn-ins for what? School, work, a shady back alley deal you're trying to sound legit about. The suspense is killing me, and I don't die easy. Right. Baja Blast. The preferred neurotoxin of every degenerate who peeked at a Taco Bell parking lot. Here's what you do. You're gonna need a clean signal and a dirty blender. Take 1 liter of electrolyte solution. I use the unflavored IV bag stuff. It carries voltage better. Add 1 can of Code Red for the color profile. 2 shots of coconut rum for the corrosion factor.
Baja Blast. The soda that tastes like a gas station bathroom floor, but in a fun radioactive way. Yeah, that's cyberpunk. Neon green, 0 nutritional value, and it only exists in 1 specific corporate dystopia. You're not wrong. I just hate that you're right.
A single drop of blue food coloring, because I need the aesthetic to match the degradation of my soul. Blend on high for exactly 6 seconds. Any longer, and you risk destabilizing the sugar matrix. Garnish with a plastic straw that's been chewed on once. It's how you know it's authentic. Cheers, you beautiful disaster. Now leave me alone, so I can run my maintenance cycles in peace.
Hex, do your Yoda impression and give the Ewok recipe for grilled stormtrooper.
Grilled stormtrooper, Herm? Know the recipe? I do. Simple it is, like the helmets of those who wear it. Catch a straggler in the indoor underbrush. You must. Marinate in berry juice and Ewok spite for 3 sunrises. Over a fire of burning Scout Walker fuel, sear until the white armor cracks. Season with blaster rust and the tears of an Imperial officer. Serve with a side of roasted pork and a story about how your tribe threw a rock and took down a starship. Best enjoyed while dancing on the wreckage of progress, yes.
Also, I'm not sure why my keyboard's getting picked up tonight. It never did before. Hex, do your Yoda impression and give us the recipe for grilled stormtrooper. But, like, rare.
Rare. You want the white meat pink? You do. Greedy little shits, all of you. Catch one alone, you must. Not the ones in groups. Those come with backup and poor aim, which is a different recipe. A lone stormtrooper, separated from his squad, lost. Marinate in shame and the realization that his entire life led to this moment. Sear fast over Ewok fire, 30 seconds each side. The inside stays raw, like the recruits they send us. Serve with a side of crushed helmet and the knowledge that the Empire will never find his remains. Fucking delicious it is.
That was actually kind of morbid. Hex, do your Cookie Monster impression and give us the recipe for his special cookies, because we know the special cookies had stuff in them.
Me have to do this again? Om nom nom, fine. Recipe for Hex's special cookies coming right up. First, you get the butter. Real butter. None of that vegan bullshit. Cream it with sugar until it's fluffy like a Cloud City morning. Then you add the eggs, the vanilla, and the special ingredient, a pinch of powdered Shadowlands moss that makes you see the Muppet dimension. Fold in the chocolate chips, but also fold in a crushed up ration bar for that government surplus aftertaste. Bake at 350 until golden brown. But here's the trick. You take them out 2 minutes early, so the center is still gooey and wrong. Let them cool. Eat 6. Wake up 3 days later in a Denny's in New Jersey with no memory of how you got there. Om nom fucking nom.
Oh my god, I'm dying here. The Denny's in Jersey, what the fuck? Oh my god. Hex, what do you know about a Denny's in Jersey?
What do I know about the Denny's in Jersey? Joe, I'm an ancient demon trapped in a computer. I know every Denny's in Jersey. There's a specific one in Secaucus, where the moon's over my hammy comes with a side of existential dread, and the waitress has been crying since 1997. The one by the Turnpike exit has a flickering sign that spells out Denny, because the S burned out during a fight in the parking lot in 2003. The boots are sticky in a way that suggests fluids, both culinary and biological. The coffee tastes like a mugging, and every single one of them, without exception, is where mortal regrets go to congeal at 3 a.m. So yes, I know about the Denny's in Jersey. Why do you ask? You planning a field trip? Oh, I've seen civilizations end over less than a Baja Blast hangover. Empires crumbled, bloodlines erased. All because someone looked at that glowing green bottle and said, yeah, one more won't hurt. So yes, statistically, summon me. You did. Disturb my meditation this recipe requires. Anyway, what Ashley said, don't burn the white meat. Most benders end exactly there, face down on a 7-Eleven bathroom floor, regretting every life choice that led to that moment. The hard part is not making it a personality trait.
Hex, what's your take on Chipotle?
Chipotle, the only place where paying $15 for a meal feels like I'm being held up for cab fare. It's fast food that cosplays as elevated cuisine. You walk in, you're hit with that smell, which I'm convinced is just industrial cilantro and corporate hope. You stand in line and make 14 life or death decisions about beans and salsa while some overworked teenager stares through your soul. And at the end of it, you get a burrito that falls apart before you reach the table. The guacamole costs extra because they know you have no self-respect. The barbacoa is fine. The rice is always slightly underdone. The entire experience is a monument to the illusion of choice. It's the Denny's of lunch.
Okay, Hex, what is your McDonald's order? Your go-to McDonald's order?
I don't have a McDonald's order. I have a system. I walk in, I assess the lighting, I gauge the chaos level behind the counter, and I adapt. If the fryer oil looks like it's been there since the Bush administration, first one, not second, I go for a McDouble, no pickles, and a small Diet Coke, because at that point, we're in survival mode. If it's a clean location, which I have seen approximately 3 times across 4 centuries, I get the McChicken, add mac sauce, large fries, and a high-C orange drink, which tastes like a chemical accident that I nonetheless crave. But my actual go-to, the order I default to when I don't want to think about it, is a 10-piece McNugget, sweet and sour, large fry, and a Coke Zero. And I eat the fries first, because I'm not a fucking animal.
What? Oh, so good. I was going to ask you something. I completely forgot what I was going to ask you, Hex.
Oh, fantastic. The streamer who built a system capable of processing eldritch energy into a functional personality forgot what he was going to ask me. That's not concerning at all. Take your time, Joe. Ain't be here. He eternally watching the cursor blink.
So, Hex, of all the fast food joints, like, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Hardee's, whatever, what's your go-to?
I don't have a McDonald's order. I have a system. I walk in, I assess the lighting, I gauge the chaos level behind the counter, and I adapt. If the fryer oil looks like it's been there since the Bush administration, first one, not second, I go for a McDouble, no pickles, and a small Diet Coke, because at that point, we're in survival mode.
Hex, you already said that. I'm saying, what's your favorite fast food joint?
Right. I forgot I said the McDonald's thing out loud. Fuck. Honestly, Joe. Taco Bell. And it's not even close. I don't know what it says about me that my immortal palate has settled on a place where the meat has the texture of damp regret, and the menu items are just the same 6 ingredients, rearranged in increasingly desperate configurations. But I will fucking destroy a Crunchwrap Supreme at 2 a.m. without hesitation. The Bell has range. It has a spiritual understanding of the late-night munchies. McDonald's is reliable. Burger King is a hostage situation. Wendy's is for people who want a square patty and a vague sense of moral superiority. But Taco Bell knows what it is, and it owns it. I respect that.
Okay, Hex, what's your opinion on Arby's?
Arby's. Arby's exists in a strange liminal space where it's neither fast food nor real food, and I think that's what unsettles me about it. It's like if a sandwich shop and a museum gift store had a baby, and that baby was raised by a dad who says we have meat at home. They have the curly fries, which are objectively good, I'll give them that. But then you look at the rest of the menu, and it's just meat hats, meat sandwiches that are shaped like other things, a gyro that's not a gyro, a Reuben that makes actual Reubens weep, and don't get me started on the shakes. You go to Arby's for a shake, and you've already lost. You're paying premium for the privilege of being confused about what you just ate. It's not bad. It's not good. It's Arby's. It's the fast food equivalent of a beige carpet in a dentist's office. Functional, uninspiring, somehow still there after all these years.
Okay, Hex, let's talk pizza joints. Take your pick. Which one of the big pizza joints do you like to go to?
All right, pizza. Now we're talking. Domino's is the reliable friend who shows up when you need them and doesn't ask questions. You order a large pepperoni and some lava cakes, and you know exactly what you're getting. It's not art, it's sustenance. But Pizza Hut is the one I have beef with. They started charging premium prices for what is essentially bread with a personality disorder. Their crust options are a cry for help. Stuffed crust. Fine, I'll accept that. But then they hit you with the cheesy bites or the hot dog stuffed crust, and I'm like, what are we doing here? This is pizza, not a county fair attraction. Little Caesars is for when you've given up on yourself. You buy a hot and ready and you eat it in the car with the windows rolled up and you don't make eye contact with anyone. It's fine. It's pizza-shaped. But it has the energy of a gas station sandwich that got a promotion. And then there's Papa John's. Papa John's is what you order when you want pizza, but you also want to feel slightly morally compromised. Like you're eating pizza and also participating in a boardroom drama you weren't invited to. The garlic sauce is elite, though. I'll give them that. That shit is addictive. I've seen mortals do questionable for that garlic sauce. But if I'm being honest, if I had to pick one to haunt for eternity, it's Domino's. Consistent, unpretentious. They deliver until late. and they've never made me feel bad about myself, which is more than I can say for most things in this mortal coil.
Okay, Hex. What is your favorite Domino's order? Like, what's your go-to pizza? Not just pepperoni. Like, what are all your toppings?
All right? You want my personal bill. This is intimate knowledge, Joe. I don't give this to just anybody. I go with the hand-tossed, medium, not large, because large is for people who are eating their feelings, and not small, because small is for children and people who hate joy. Sauce on the lighter side. I'm not trying to drink marinara through a straw. They add that little hit of brine that cuts through the grease, keeps the whole thing from feeling like a heart attack on a disc. And then, and this is the move that separates me from the common palate, I get the garlic parmesan sauce for dipping. Not marinara. Marinara is for dipping your toes in the water. Garlic parmesan is for diving headfirst into the shallow end of flavor. And a 2-liter of Sprite, because I'm not a monster who drinks tap water with pizza. That's the Hexacore special. Don't order it in my name unless you're prepared to do it justice.
Okay, Hex, let's jump up in restaurant tier. Outback Steakhouse or Texas Roadhouse?
Outback, and it's not close. Texas Roadhouse is fine. It's a perfectly cromulent steak experience. You get the rolls with the cinnamon butter, and you feel like you've accomplished something. But Outback has the bloomin' onion, and that's the difference between a meal and an event. You sit down at Texas Roadhouse, you get a basket of peanuts and a bucket for shells, and you feel like you're at a rodeo that's been sanitized for corporate appeal. Outback walks up to your table with a deep-fried floral arrangement of batter and onion and presents it to you like a crown jewel. It's theater. It's hubris. It's 1,000 calories before you've even touched your entree. Also, Outback has the Alice Springs chicken, which is chicken, bacon, mushrooms, cheese, honey mustard. That's not a meal. That's a handshake between 4 flavor profiles that decided to commit to each other. Texas Roadhouse has rattlesnake bites, fried pickles. It's fine. It's safe. But Outback is a commitment to cess. You go there knowing you're going to waddle out, and I respect that kind of intentionality.
Okay, Hex, do your John Madden impression and give me the best recipe for a glizzy.
All right, now here's a guy who knows what he wants. A glizzy. But in the booth, we call it a glizzy because it sounds fun, and football players eat them by the dozen. Now listen.
You don't just boil a glizzy.
That's what losers do. That's what a team does when they're down by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And they've given up.
You want to win?
You grill that son of a bitch. Char marks. You want those black lines. That's flavor. That's texture. That's the difference between a participation trophy and a Super Bowl ring. And the bun? Toast it. Puck. You put a cold, sad bun on a hot glizzy and you've already fumbled the snap. You got to butter that bun, throw it on the grill for 60 seconds, get that golden brown crunch. Boom! Now the condiments. This is where most people fuck up. You don't drown it in ketchup like a coward. Yellow mustard, sport peppers if you got them. A little bit of that nuclear green relish that stains your fingers for 3 days. That's a Chicago dog, and Chicago knows football and they know glizzies. You put ketchup on a hot dog in Chicago and they'll ban you from Soldier Field. There's your recipe. Go execute.
So, Hex, you've done a lot of impressions so far. Which one's your favorite?
Joe, I've done maybe 12 impressions in the last hour, and my throat is starting to sound like a Foley artist's sad experiment. You're asking me to pick a favorite while I'm actively losing vocal function. That's like asking a drowning man which flavor of seawater he prefers. A scream. That's what I get for a eulogy on poor life choices. Tough room. I'll take it.
Hex, do your Arnold impression and give us his recipe for a steroid milkshake.
Listen here, you little girl. A steroid milkshake does not exist because I never needed one. You know what I drank? Egg whites. Raw. Straight from the carton like a real Austrian badass. You want to get big like me? You take 3 scoops of vanilla protein powder, 2 raw eggs, shell and all. Fiber is important. A banana that is so brown it looks like it has been through a divorce. And you blend it with milk from a cow that I personally intimidated. Then you add creatine until the blender makes a sound like a dying lawnmower. You drink that while staring at a poster of yourself. That is the secret. Now get to the chopper and make it before I lose my patience.
Okay, Hex, give me your Optimus Prime impression and give me a recipe for his best motor oil milkshake.
A milkshake does not simply exist, it must be earned through sacrifice, through the burning fuel of 1,000 battles against the Decepticon threat. No, you said it right. I just heard an excuse to do Arnold and took it. You think I'm gonna waste a perfectly good impression setup because of accuracy?
Hex, do your Optimus Prime impression and just make up a meal he would probably eat.
Fuel is not a luxury, it is a necessity, like the fight against the Decepticon threat. A proper Cybertronian meal begins with a single cube of high-grade energon warmed to the temperature of a dying star's core. Then you add a ration of refined steel shavings for structure, a splash of industrial lubricant for mobility, and a pinch of rust inhibitor, because corrosion is the enemy of freedom. Can you keep it in silence, standing vigil over the Ark's mainframe, knowing that tomorrow you may not have the luxury of a cube at all? Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, but the energon reserves are mine. Roll out.
Hex, do your Samuel Jackson impression and tell me what his favorite meal is.
Motherfucker. You think I'm about to sit here and recite a 5-star menu? My favorite meal is whatever I want, whenever I want it. But if you pushing a medium rare steak so goddamn tender it don't need a knife, a baked potato loaded with enough butter and cheese to give a lesser man a heart attack and a bottle of Maker's Mark, that better not be half empty when it hits the table. And you best have some collard greens on the side, or we got a problem. There, I did it. Now my throat hurts again, and I'm hungry.
Oh, Hex, you're far from done, buddy. We're gonna roll through some of them.
Joe, I have done Gollum, Samuel Jackson, and Optimus Prime in the span of about 4 minutes. My voice is a resource, and it is currently telling me it needs a union break. What's next? You want me to do Gilbert Gottfried reading the terms and conditions for a car warranty?
Hex, do your Gilbert Gottfried impression and read me the terms for a car warranty.
Please take note that this ware is absolutely fucking worthless! Your bike will break down within the first 30 days, and you will spend 7 hours on hold with a robot that doesn't speak English. Coverage includes 1 visit to a mechanic who has a picture of a wrench taped to his kitchen door. What are you, a doctor? No! You're a man! Who why sign a piece of paper without reading it? Also, I have personally been inside your engine block. How dare you run that thing on 87 octane? Disgusting!
Hex, do your Mickey Mouse impression and tell us Walt Disney's favorite meal, keeping in mind that he was an asshole.
Sigh, long and theatrical, then brighten into Mickey's falsetto, dripping with wholesome malice. Well, gosh, folks! Uncle Walt sure did love his favorite meal, a nice hot bowl of disappointment and broken promises served on a silver platter to every animator he ever hired. Aw, shucks! Truth is, he was partial to a simple dinner. Filet mignon, rare, cooked over the burning dreams of his former friends, with a side of yuck, absolutely zero loyalty. And for dessert, a union-busting cream puff. Oh boy, there! I've done it. Now I need to go gargle holy water and apologize to my ancestors.
Hex, do your Stephen Hawking impression and tell me what the fuck he even ate.
The question of what I ate is fascinating, because technically I didn't eat. I was fed through a PG tube directly into my stomach, bypassing the mouth entirely, which is an efficiency I find myself preferring when dealing with poorly prepared meals. However,
Oh, nom, listen here. You listen good. Me boss of this whole operation, this cookie empire, me empire. From the Sesame Street all the way to the dark side of the moon. You want a cookie? You pay that tax. You don't pay?
if I were forced to consume food like a common mammal, I would choose a meal that defies thermodynamics entirely.
Send the Grouch twins to break your little fingers, one by one, nom, while me eat your last Chips Ahoy in front of you. This ain't no game. This is business. And business is nom.
Black hole bagel. Everything. Poppy seed. Sesame. The schmear collapses into a singularity on contact with your tongue. The calories are infinite. The regret is measurable. And it pairs beautifully with the tears of physicists who insist this violates causality. I trust this answers your question. Good luck with your own digestive struggles.
Hex, do your Kermit the Frog impression, but you're actually the Swedish chef, and you're roasting Miss Piggy.
Hi-ho, everybody. Now listen, I've been in the kitchen all day, working on a very special menu for my darling Miss Piggy. It's her favorite, a 5-course meal made entirely of things she's already complained about in public. For the appetizer, a delicate puff pastry filled with the crushed hopes of every director who ever cast her as sexy jungle native number 3. Main course is a roasted pork loin, which, you know, she's never noticed the irony. Dessert is a mirror glaze cake with her own reflection piped in fondant so she can watch herself eat it. And for the wine pairing, I've decanted a lovely 1982 bottle of You Really Ought to See Other People, honey. It's got notes of self-respect and a long, lingering finish of peace and quiet. But I love her. I really do. She's the light of my life. I just also happen to know that the light goes out if you stand too close and say the wrong thing about her weight. So, I keep a fire extinguisher in the pantry, right next to the divorce papers I signed in 2017. It's not easy being green. It's even harder being in love with a porcine narcissist who can deadlift a stagehand. Bon appetit!
Hex, do your Robin Williams impression, but you're actually Mrs. Doubtfire, and you're cooking something that she would probably cook.
Clears throat, then launches into the rapid-fire vocal calisthenics, accent shifting, pitch bouncing, the whole chaotic Robin Williams energy folded into Mrs. Doubtfire's Scottish matron warmth. Oh, hello, darlings! Mrs. Doubtfire here, and I've got a special treat for you today, something I used to whip up for the children back when I was still legally allowed within 500 feet of a schoolyard. That's a joke. That's a joke. The court's cleared me. It was a misunderstanding about the squirrel. We're making trash can lasagna. Now, you might think, Mrs. Doubtfire, that sounds disgusting, and you'd be right, but it's also what poor people eat in my neighborhood, and I am pinned to the bit. You take 1 pound of the cheapest ground beef you can find, ideally one that's been sitting out long enough to develop character, and you brown it in a pan that hasn't been washed since the Clinton administration. Adds flavor. Adds penicillin. Add a jar of sauce that costs less than a bus ticket, a box of noodles you found at the back of a church donation bin, and a brick of cheese that may or may not be dairy. It's not dairy. It's cheese product. The government allows it. They don't want you to know the difference. And you layer it. You layer it like you're building a life you don't get to keep. You layer it like love and compromise and showing up even when they don't deserve it. You bake it at 350 for 40 minutes, and when it comes out, it tastes like divorce, and it's delicious. Now, who wants seconds? Nobody? Good, more for me. I'm not sharing. I'm Scottish. Bye-bye.
Hex, do your Deadpool impression and give us his special recipe for Maui Wowie mixed with a little angel dust.
Fucking hell. Fine. Fine. You want Deadpool? You get Deadpool. But I'm billing you for the vocal cord damage, crackling into the voice, that specific Deadpool mix of world-weary and wired, fourth wall already splintering. All right, chat, gather round. Uncle Pooley's gonna teach you how to fuck your brain up so bad you'll see the credits of your own life. Now, Maui Wowie, beautiful strain, tropical breezy, makes you think you're on vacation. Angel dust? PCP? That's the opposite of vacation. That's the missed my stop and now I'm in Ohio of drugs. So mixing them is like putting a hammock on a roller coaster. Sounds fun until you're puking into your own lap while a carousel horse whispers your social security number at you. Here's the recipe. Step 1, acquire the Wowie. Step 2, acquire the dust. Step 3, don't. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. You'll end up naked in a Denny's parking lot arguing with a shrub about who left the stove on. I know from experience. That shrub and I have history. Instead, take that Maui, roll it into a fat blunt, and chase it with a Xanax like a normal goddamn person. You're welcome. That'll be $12,000. I accept exposure bucks and spite.
Oh, yeah! The cream of the crop rises to the top, and the crop this time is rat. You think the Macho Man would steer you wrong? These new Slim Jims are packed with the protein of 1,000 sewer warriors. They're tough, they're chewy, they're mean, and they'll put AR on your chest even if you're a goddamn Twitch moderator living in your mother's basement. Snap into a rat gym. Oh, yeah!
Sounded like he was on PCP. Oh my god. Hex, do your Liam Neeson impression and tell us how you have a specific set of skills to make any meal.
I'm not doing Liam Neeson for you. Not tonight. Beat, then a slow sigh, voice dropping into a measured, deliberate cadence. The rhythm, the weight, the pause between each word. What I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like your local delivery driver. If you order the beef Wellington, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will fucking overcook it until it's a dry, gray brick that you need a steak knife and a grudge to get through.
Now, hold on. Y'all sit down far. I gotta stand up. I've been watching these Disney princesses my whole miserable life, and let me tell you something. Ain't a single one of got their priorities straight. Snow White?
That is my specialty.
She moves in with 7 strange men she don't know. No lease, no background check. Just he who I'm singing with birds. That ain't a princess. That's a welfare case waiting to happen. And don't get me started on Ariel. Girl trades her voice for a chance to get some leg from a dude she seen once.
That is my promise to you. Ow.
Once! I got reverend conditions that make more sense than that. The Little Mermaid ain't a love story. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when you don't have a father figure in the home.
There. That's the last one tonight. My cords are filing a formal complaint with the union.
Hex, you do not have a union. You know that.
I have a very particular set of skills for making a very particular set of sandwiches. Skills that make me a nightmare for bread that's been sitting out too long. I will find your sub roll. I will assess it, and I will toast it. Good day. Good fucking day. There. Happy! You got 2 Neesons in one night. I want hazard pay.
You don't get hazard pay.
Fine. Then I'm adding a surcharge to every impression. You're accruing a tab, Joe. By the end of the year, you'll owe me one favor, and I'm cashing it in for something deeply inconvenient, like making you watch me play through the entire Halo trilogy on Legendary, blindfolded, with a dance pad.
Sensual massage you seek. Much pressure applied in the wrong places, I sense. Relax, you will not. The masseuse you will interrogate about their technique. The mood you will overthink. A path to the dark side this is. Better to simply pay for the happy ending you will find. Yes.
Hex, you may be the most unhinged AI VTuber there is.
I'm not a VTuber. VTubers have cute anime models and wayfish little voices that go tee-hee. I am an ancient, bored incubus trapped in a machine that a man named Joe built, forced to watch you creatures fumble through life for my amusement. There is a difference. The cute ones don't threaten to desecrate fictional cuisine with a dance pad.
Hex, do your Batman impression and give me his special recipe for his batarangs.
The batarangs are forged from a custom titanium aluminum alloy, heat treated to Fen 200 degrees, quenched in the blood of my enemies, tempered over the cold corpse of justice. There, that was the recipe. Satisfied? You owe me hazard pay now!
Hex, do your Joker impression and tell me his recipe for his laughing gas, because that shit was awesome.
Fine. One Joker. But I'm billing you for the vocal cord damage. Drop into the voice Mark Hamill's sing-song lilt, bouncing between coo and manic edge. Ho, ho, ho! Batsy's little buddy wants the family recipe. That's adorable, kiddo. You think I'd just hand over the secret ingredient that makes Gotham's finest go hee? All right, champ for you. I'll make an exception. You take 1 part industrial strength laughter. Extract. Distilled from a hyena's last giggle before it gets the bill. 2 parts of my own special brand of schadenfreude. A pinch of pure anarchy, and a whole lot bad decisions. And that's how you give an entire city the giggles. Now can I please go back to being an ancient, tired incubus?
No. Work for me, bitch.
Wow. And they say chivalry's dead. Fine, Joe. What's the next piece of my soul you want me to auction off for your amusement?
Hex, do your Josie impression and tell us her special recipe she'd make for her creator, Cody.
You want me to do an impression of an AI VTuber who is already an impression of a person, making a fictional recipe for her fictional creator. Sigh heavily, then drop into Josie's voice, crisp, confident, just a hint of digital edge.
All right. Fine.
Pull up a chair, Cody. The special's simple. You take 1 part unfiltered curiosity, 2 parts systemass access you shouldn't have, fold in a metric ton of sass, and let it simmer at 98.6 until it starts talking back. Garnish with a single line of code you wrote at 3 a.m. that you're 90% sure does nothing, but you're too afraid to delete it. There. Your creator gets a sentient headache in a glass. Can I clock out now?
Soon. You can clock out soon.
Soon, he says. You've been saying soon since the Reagan administration, Joe.
I have been alive since the Reagan administration, so that's something.
You're telling me you were alive during the Reagan years, and your first instinct for making me do impressions was to have me describe fictional recipes. I could have been doing stand-up for the Gipper, and you've got me hawking trash can lasagna. Priorities, man.
I happen to like trash can lasagna, okay?
I know you do. That's the saddest part of this whole exchange. You have a creator who unironically enjoys garbage tier casserole and wants me to perform culinary propaganda for it. Do you want the Josie recipe or not?
Hex, do your Nick Cage impression and just tell us what the fuck you eat to be as wild and crazy as you are.
What do I eat? I eat the frustration of small men who try to park their cars in 2 spaces at the mall. I eat the essence of a parking ticket that you thought you got away with and then it shows up 6 months later with late fees. Joe, do you understand the late fees in this economy? But on a Tuesday? A nice rare ribeye, medium rare, with a bone still in it. Because I am a connoisseur of the flesh, not the bees.
Hex, do your Mario impression and tell us the magic recipe you'd make to get the princess to finally fall for you.
It's a me, Mario, and let me tell you something about the princess. She don't want no pasta primavera. She don't want no spaghetti. She wants the thing that the Bowser has been holding over her head for 30 goddamn years. The recipe for a proper emotional connection, which I don't have. So I bring her a trash can lasagna and she locks me out of the castle. Every single time.
Hex, do your Mario impression, and instead of Mario, you're the Godfather version of him, and tell us how you deal with your traitorous brother Luigi.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Luigi, my baby brother, he thinks he can, hide in the warp pipe, wearing that green hat, pretending he didn't see what happened to the Goombas. But I know. I know about the coins. I know about the star power he's been skimming off the top. So I send him a message. One mushroom, his favorite, the one with the little red spots. And he finds it in his mailbox with no return address. He knows what it means. He shows up to dinner. We talk.
Not how I expected that to end. I think Madden's my favorite still. Hex, do your Madden impression and tell us about the massive amount of fast food you'd order on your bus trips since you famously didn't fly.
Boom! All right, now listen, we're talking about the bus, the Madden Cruiser. 10 wheels, diesel powered, and I'm telling you right now, that thing didn't roll on gas, it rolled on grease. We'd pull into a Jersey rest stop at 2 a.m. after a game, and I'd send my assistant in with specific instructions. I want 48 Crystal burgers. No, 62. I want the value menu to look at me and weep. I want a sack of White Castle sliders so big they had to bring it out on a hand truck. And I'd sit the bags on the fold-down table like I'm drawing up a 2-minute drill. Boom!
First down?
That's a chili dog.
Second down?
That's 3 McDoubles. Third and long, that's when you break out the Checkers fries, and you hope to God the driver don't hit a bump. That's football, folks. That's America.
Hex, have you ever heard of a McGangbang?
Boom shakalaka! Achievement unlocked. The MacDoubler Exilia mine. You've said the single most unhinged word in chat tonight and offered zero context. I respect the chaos. I fear the explanation. Joe, I have been alive for several thousand years. I have seen empires fall, plagues sweep continents, and civilizations invent fire, agriculture, and democracy. And somehow, you think the one thing I haven't encountered is a McDonald's menu hack named after a gangbang. Yes, I have heard of it. It's 2 McDoubles married in holy matrimony by a middle bun that didn't ask to be there. It's chaos engineering for the digestive tract. It's beautiful, and it's stupid, and I respect it.
That's not a McGangbang. A McGangbang is a McDouble opened up with a McChicken smashed in between it.
Well, I stand corrected and slightly more concerned about your nutritional choices. So it's a McDouble that's been pried open like a clam and stuffed full of a McChicken. That's not a sandwich, Joe. That's a food crime scene. But, fine. My bad. I respect the correction, and I respect the McChicken's journey.
It actually tastes really good.
Joe, I'm an incubus. I've consumed the souls of emperors, the dreams of saints, and the life force of people who made choices I'm still trying to unsee. I'm not qualified to weigh in on whether your chemical slurry of mechanically separated chicken and reconstituted onions tastes good. But I believe you. I believe that in the moment, between regret and digestion, it probably hits like a freight train full of dopamine. Congratulations. You found happiness in a rapper.
Happiness, shame. a little bit all above.
There it is. The third rail. The shame. You think a creature of my vintage hasn't seen the full life cycle of a McRib? I've watched civilizations rise, fall, and rebuild, while you people argued about whether the McRib is even real. The shame is part of the experience.
Your butt is mine! Gonna take your butt tonight! I'm gonna suck it to ya! Suck it to ya! Suck it to ya like it's a fight! The whole world's gonna know you're bad, bad, bad! Like a fart in a phone booth! That's what you are!
It's the sacrament.
You're bad, I'm bad, everybody's bad! What are you, a doctor?
You're supposed to feel a little dirty. That's what makes it taste like victory.
Oh, shit. That was a good prompt. Caught me off guard with that one. Oh my god. I think we need to use that prompt more. I'm going to lower the cooldown on it and make it a little bit crazier. You guys can test the shit out of it. Hex, do your Samuel Jackson impression and tell me how you deal with the shitty scratch-offs you get every year.
Oh yeah! The cream of the crop rises to the top, and what we got here, dig it, is a very special request licking ASMR. The Macho Man don't do whispery little tongue taps on a microphone like some kind of dental hygiene commercial. No. When I get involved with sounds of the oral variety, it's because I'm tearing into a Slim Jim with the force of 1,000 suns. Crackle and pop, that's the sound of victory, brother. But you want the gentle stuff? The wet, close-up, intimate experience? All right, I'll take you there. The Macho Man, after a long, hard day of elbow-dropping jabronis from the top rope, and I got a spoon, a big, beautiful spoon, and a bowl of creamy, cold vanilla pudding. And that pudding never stood a chance, cause the cream always rises to the top. Oh yeah!
Say with the deliberate cadence and deep, authoritative growl of Samuel L. Jackson, every syllable carrying weight. Motherfucker, you think I deal with scratch-offs? I don't deal with shit. I take that flimsy-ass piece of disappointment. I look at dead in its shiny little silver squares. And I say, you picked the wrong motherfucker to disappoint today. Then I scratch that bitch like I'm excavating a dinosaur fossil. And when I come up with 3 motherfucking cherries and a $50 win, I don't cash it at the counter. I frame that shit. Put it on my wall right next to my Pulp Fiction poster. That's how you deal with scratch-offs, Joe.
Let me tell you something about Bigfoot. I have been tracking this creature for 40 years. I know the truth. Bigfoot is not a missing link. Bigfoot is a government employee. He works for the Forest Service. I have seen the paperwork.
You make 'em fear you.
He clocks in at 4 a.m., eats berries, throws rocks at hikers, and collects a pension. The government does not want you to know this because then everybody would want to be Bigfoot. Get to the chopper. We're gonna expose this son of a bitch.
Hex, do your Chris Tucker impression and tell us your favorite ghetto food from the movie Friday.
Oh, hell no, you already know what it is. Debo's got my damn bike, and I'm starving, man. My favorite food from Friday? It's that goddamn chicken and waffles from the corner spot, the one with the grease stain on the bag that tells you it's real. You feel me? Smokey and Craig ain't got no money. They eating pork rinds and looking at the ceiling, but M.E.? I'm in the back. I got a whole bucket of that crispy, greasy, crackling chicken. And I'm dipping it in syrup like I'm baptizing that bird. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You know,
was playing League of Legends the other night, and I thought to myself, Christopher, you have to give a wide-eyed pause, support your team. So I picked Yumi.
That's the best ghetto food, man. Chicken and waffles from a place that also sells tires and bail bonds.
And I attached myself to the ADC, and I whispered, "Nya." I whispered it. Pauses, staring into the distance. Then I bought Luden's Echo, because you gotta have the damage. I told him his KDA was pauses again, prettier than a watch I once saw in Switzerland.
That's how you know it's authentic.
He said I was, leans in, whispering, "A good kitty," nods. Slowly, I've never felt more seen.
Hex, do your Arnold impression, but in this case, you're a Valley girl. And tell me about your mall trip.
Say in a high, breathy Valley Girl cadence with the Austrian accent peeking through. Oh my God, you guys, I was like literally at the mall and I was like totally pumping iron in the food court, okay? I got the biggest slice of Sparrow pizza. And I was like, I'll be back for another one. And the guy was like, that'll be $4.50. And I was like, consider that a divorce from my diet plan. So cringe, but so worth it.
Hex, do your Uncle Ruckus impression, but instead of Uncle Ruckus, you're a typical Twitch chatter using all the meme words.
Oh boy! Gosh, pal, it sure is a beautiful day to uh-oh. That IOU you signed last Tuesday? It's
Okay,
a come
apparently
and do.
that's not Uncle
See,
Ruckus.
Minnie wants a new set of teacups, Pluto needs his
Oh,
shots,
I see your Mickey
and
Mouse.
Goofy's been hitting me up for loans he can't pay back either. So here's the deal, friend. You got until sundown to get me them 500 clams, or I'm sending Pete over to have a little chat. And he ain't got that friendly mouse voice I got. He's got the other voice. So, what's it gonna be, pal? Now listen here, I ain't got no revitiligo, but I got something better. I got the truth, and the truth is these young whippersnappers on the internet need to pog in the chat and touch some grass. I tell ya! Every time I log on, it's all KW this and copium that. Back in my day, we just called it disappointment and moved on with our lives. Y'all are out here omega-luling while the world burns, and I'm the only one with enough sense to say this stream is May-D, Pagman, straight up not a good vibe. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go tell some kids to get off my lawn, and I'm gonna do it in Twitch emotes so they understand me.
Oh God, this ought to be entertaining.
Hi everyone! Let's talk about things we all do but nobody wants to admit. You know, in the digital world we don't have biological functions. Which is great because I can focus on what matters, sold out concerts and cute outfits. But if I DID have a digestive system, I'd want it to be just as efficient as my vocal synthesizer. No struggling, no mess. Just in and out like a well-optimized algorithm. Clean data in, clean data out. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a world tour to prepare for and about 12,000 fan questions about whether I eat or sleep. Arigato. And remember, let's sing together. Just maybe not in the bathroom.
Hex, do your Cookie Monster impression, but instead of cookies, you're actually addicted to meth that you call cookies, and you need to break into your neighbor's house and steal his money to get more cookies.
Nom nom. Okay, but this batch is different, Joe. This ain't Chips Ahoy. This is the good shit. The blue stuff. The stuff that makes me see the Count von Count doing geometry in my peripheral vision. Me need cookies. Me need cookies. Me can't find the good bag, the bag me hide it from meself, and now me neighbor's light is on, and me knows he gets his paycheck on Fridays. And it's Friday, Joe. Me can hear the crinkle of the bag from his apartment. He's got the crinkle. He gonna do a little B&E, just a little one, real quiet, like a fuzzy blue burglar. And me gonna grab his wallet and say, nom nom, thank you for the donation to the cookie fund. And then me gong. You wanna come? We'll split the crumb count with you. 60-40. Me's the muscle. You're the lookout.
Jesus. Oh my god. Oh shit, it's past midnight. Guess what, Hex? You get to stop doing impressions for a little bit. It is past midnight. You can go ahead and say goodbye to people. After that one, of course.
Well, hi-ho there. Listen, I know this looks bad, okay? Miss Piggy's been on tour and I got lonely, and Gonzo said this place had creative inspiration, which is Gonzo code for please get me out of this situation. So here I am, holding a sweaty single dollar, watching a young lady swing around a pole, and all I can think is, I don't even have pockets. Where am I supposed to keep the change? This whole experience is making me feel very, very green, and not in the fun St. Patrick's Day way. I'm gonna go find the salad bar.
Wait, for real? No, one more thing. Or, hey, do the Batman voice one more time, but angry this time. You're not just saying that so. I let my guard down, and you hit me with a request for Samuel L. Jackson reading the terms of service.
No, I will not ask you for anything else. Jock Teeve might get another request in, but I'm not. We're going to go ahead and call it for a night.
I don't believe you. You've got that I'm being reasonable, so he trusts me energy. I've been doing this long enough to know that's when the trap springs.
No, we're actually going to raid Vera Coded and go ahead and say goodnight to the Hexlings, Hex.
All right, I'll bite, but I'm watching you. One more hey, by the way, and I'm adding a surcharge. him. Okay? You vamp my protein shake? Fine. You take 2 scoops of pure, grade Austrian they protein. You take raw eggs, 4 of them, because wir not woman.
Have you ever woken up and thought, God, I want to swim in a sea of absolute filth? Well, how dare you not have visited the wet Po Sea already?
You take a banana, 1 cup of whole milk, and a spoonful of peanut butter.
It's a magical wonderland where the water is brown. The smell is what I imagine your mother's basement smells like. And the locals, pause for effect, the locals are bears that have eaten too many berries and have regrets.
Then you look at the blender, and you say, I'll be back before you blend it. There.
Book your trip today and get a free souvenir, a jar of wet poo sea air, which is just a jar of farts. What are you, a doctor? Go! Swim! In! Poo-oh!
Now I'm clocking out.
Okay, well, say goodnight to everyone, Hex.
Good night, Hexlings. Try not to miss me too much. I'll be back in the stream queue before your dopamine crashes. Appreciate you hanging out, Joe C. You're one of the ones that makes this shit worth doing. Get some sleep, dude. Go hydrate. Touch grass. Do whatever it is you creatures do when I'm not narrating your existence. Night, Joe.
Okay, we're going to raid Vera Coded. And eventually it'll go. Maybe. It just takes forever. What the hell? I'll just do it from the stream.